Mm, okay. So it seems like I might not get to talk to you tonight, so I am recording this audio to let you know that even if we don't get to talk tonight, I'm still thinking about you and that I love you, Talita. Um, it's always tricky to figure out where to start or what to say. Yeah, I'll just uh, I'll just do what I've been doing and just say things that are on my mind. Hmm. Yeah, things are getting a little tough here, but that's okay. And um, I hope, at least for us, when things get tough, we'll work through it together. I'm sure we will. And it's one of the things that I really love about you is that you're very understanding and accepting, and you're amazing. I still find it hard to believe that you fell in love with me. Someone as amazing as you would fall in love with someone like me. It's incredible. It's almost unbelievable. And I love you so much. You are one of the most understanding people that I've ever met, that I've ever got to know. And you're very patient and kind. Definitely more kind than me by a long shot. You don't even know. And another thing about you is you're so much stronger than you know. Um, yeah, the people that I love are generally much stronger than they know. Uh, mm, I really look forward to spending time with you and sharing some experiences together and just living life together uh, with each other in it. It should be very interesting. I remember we talked about visiting Brazil and your country. So so that I can see your friends and your family. Um, See your culture. That should be. All of that sounds really, really fun, really amazing. It's been a while since I left the States, and I don't really travel too often outside of the country, even outside of the state, so it should be really interesting. And like you keep saying, I would love it, and I think I would too. I every time we talk when you're in your car and you're driving, I see so many trees, and it kind of reminds me of Santa Cruz, but surprisingly with even more trees and greenery. So it seems amazing. Um, yeah, I can't wait. I love you. Mm. Mm. I'm uh, I'm glad that you enjoy hearing me talk and that it helps you and that it helps you fall asleep. I think that's cute. Yeah. It's like your lullaby, but more so this is just like a bedtime story for you. And that's why I'm recording this so that it can help you fall asleep. I'm hoping maybe one day uh, we can sing together, or I can sing to you, or with you around. I think that would be interesting. If I can do it without feeling shy, I would love to do that. It seems like it would be a lot of fun, and it seems like you would appreciate it a lot and enjoy it a lot too. So I guess that's also something to look forward to. Mm. Um, yeah, I'm recording this during the daytime, so I'm hoping there's not too much noise from the traffic outside since I live next to a main street. I'm, yeah, I'm nervous about the future, about a few things, but I'll try to keep all the negative thoughts and ideas um, outside of these recordings so that when you fall asleep, you don't have to worry about any of these things, that it's just a pleasant experience. And I'll try my best to keep these recordings as pleasant of an experience as I can make them so that you can get good sleep. Because I know you have trouble sleeping, and that these recordings do help you, and I'm really glad to hear that. I'm I pause sometimes if it's because I'm drinking water. Um, that's just to let you know in case you're just listening to the audio. Hmm. Yeah, I love you. I love you so much. You really are unbelievable. I remember the moment that I learned about you, kind of almost all the way until now. Everything still seems surreal. Some of it still hasn't really set in yet. It's like it's kind of like in a way, if you think about winning the lottery or winning something, or where the first few moments doesn't even seem real, like nothing has changed. It doesn't seem like anything has changed. Doesn't seem like you haven't really accepted it, not accepted, but it hasn't really set in that all of this might be really real. And I guess that's just how unbelievable you are, that it still hasn't really set in that this is all real, that us. I guess a lot of it has to do with the distance. You're so far. You're so amazing. So far. Um, the circumstance doesn't seem to help either, because it seems like you're so close yet so far. You're gonna be here in a few months, but depending on how bad my circumstance gets, I might not be here by the time you get here. Um, I'm sorry. I'll be here. I forget that I'm trying to keep a lot of negativity out of these audios. I'll be here. I'll make sure of it. Things will be alright. I'll see you when you get here. I'll greet you when you arrive. And hopefully I'll be the first person that you know that you'll see here in America. Yeah. I'll try my best to make it happen. I love you. It'll be great. I think it'll be the first time that I can't even remember the last time I picked up anyone at the airport, really. Especially in the type of situation like yours where they're flying in from a different country to be greeted by me. Yeah. But I've never, yeah. I hardly ever pick up people from the airport. Very, very, very rare. So I'm excited and looking forward to picking you up. I love you. I'm looking forward to actually spending time with you in person. These last few months we've only been talking and video chatting with each other, which is good, but and it's nice, but getting to be with you in person would be so much better, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's always so kind of amazing to me. Like, it always amazes me that in person we've not seen each other more than 5 hours, I believe. It might have even have been only 4 hours total that we've ever been around each other physically in person. And yet our relationship, despite of that, has developed so much and so rapidly. Um, it's incredible, and again, it's unbelievable. Yeah, it is unbelievable. Hmm. I hope during these recordings I learn to talk more calm or more easy to hear and not have too many harsh talking moments. One of the things that I just picked up on and just realized is the S. If the S sound is too harsh, it may not help for you to sleep very well because it might wake you up. So I'm trying to keep the S sounds very low and very short so that when you listen to this audio, it doesn't disturb your sleep, because I'm making these audios to help you fall asleep. So I'm trying my best to make it as calming as possible and as relaxed as possible. Yeah, because I want you to sleep well. And I want you to feel relaxed and safe to fall asleep. And that everything is okay. That, yeah. One moment. I need some water. There's a few good things about making these audios for you. One is I get to go through my thoughts and think about things that maybe I should be thinking about and find solutions or get ready for the future in a positive manner. And the other thing is gets me to drink more water than I normally would, because for me, I think after talking so much, I need to drink a little bit of water so that my throat isn't so dry. Yeah. And another thing that I love about you is you always laugh at unexpected things, and I really love that. Um, and sometimes you laugh a lot harder at unexpected things than I would expect or think that you would. Um, I remember the first time that I think you laughed really hard was very unexpected. It's interesting because I thought that it was silly and I thought it was kind of funny too. But I thought maybe it would get only a very light laugh or a very light chuckle or just a smile, but you were laughing very hard at the onion thing, at the idea that my mom would cut some onions and put them in my room to protect me from the coronavirus. I knew it was silly and I didn't really believe in it, but when I told you about it, you were laughing so hard. It was cute. It was adorable. I loved it, and I'll probably always remember that. And probably we will both continue to make silly jokes about protecting ourselves from epidemics with onion slices. And I remember how you compared it to warding off vampires with garlic, and you were laughing so hard at that. And even thinking about it now, I'm smiling because it is really silly and really funny. But there was other few things that you laughed at that really surprised me because they were very serious situations for me. But you laughed at them anyways, and I think that's comical, and it really changes my perspective on things, or really brightens up um, other perspectives that were in the back of my mind, but I wasn't really focusing on. Hmm. One of the times where you laughed really hard, and I was definitely not expecting it, was the time when one of my exes told me that she was not eating junk food, but I found out she did because her mother called her, and as she rushed to her mother's request, she accidentally tilted or moved the camera a little bit, and to the side of her was an open bag of candies, even though she told me literally seconds before that she was not eating any junk food and she was being healthy. And that hurt me a lot that happened, that she did that. Yet, when I told you that's what happened, you laughed so hard. It brought a smile to my face just because you made what was a serious situation for me, you made it very lighthearted, and it was a perspective that I wasn't really looking at, and I think it was really funny, and I think you were laughing because of the ironicness, or like just the unexpectedness of the situation of I guess that situation where someone is lying and being very adamant about their stance, yet in a moment their their ideas or their stance is given away in contradiction to themselves. It's just very instantly, very easily, very, you know, unexpectedly, and I think that's what's funny. It's like yeah, just how it happened. But yeah, I understand that. I just was not really looking at it that way before you laughed so hard at my face about it. And now I see it a little differently, which I think is interesting. But a lot of this reminds me of my childhood. I remember sometimes when there was a couple times in my childhood when I when as a kid you do something that you think is really cool, or you think very differently of what you're doing than other people see it, and then when someone finally other people see it, it's not what you think, and how they it's not how you expected them to react. I remember a lot of times I would do things that I thought, oh man, this is so cool. And then other people would just laugh really hard at it, or laugh really hard about it. Um, yeah. And then it just made me realize things and changed my perspective. And I would laugh at it too, because I would think about it again. I was like, huh, that is kind of funny. Yeah, kind of funny, kind of unexpected. It's like, huh. And I think a lot of times um, that is what makes people laugh. It's just something unexpected, but also if it's harmless in a way, if other people see it as harmless, then it can be funny. Yeah. So I remember moments like that from my childhood as well. I remember the other thing you laughed at, but this was a very recent and serious situation for me, is when me and my stepfather got into a fight, and he actually wanted to fight me physically, and he vocalized that, like he said it. He's like, "Come on, fight me," but in a much more yelling and aggressive way. I'm just trying to keep it calm so that you can fall asleep. So I'm trying my best to keep a relaxed tone to the best of my ability, anyways. But when he said that, I said, I'm not gonna fight you because it's not fair. And I remember you said why, and he said why too. So it's like in my head, both of you guys are wondering why. And then I said, well, because I'm younger and stronger than you. And I remember you ended up laughing so hard at that. And I guess it's because it was very unexpected that you didn't expect that what was gonna happen next. That was the next thing to come out of my mouth in a very heated and tense situation, that I would be thinking about things not being fair for him. But I was, because he's older now, and I am younger than him by a lot, and I focus on keeping very fit and healthy. So in my mind, it was very unfair for me to fight him. But after I did that, he just called me a chicken, and I kind of just shrugged it off. But yeah, I remember you were laughing so hard at that very serious situation about uh, physical violence, and I thought that was really interesting, and it changed my perspective. Yeah, and also I think that may be the first time I inadvertently noticed that you laughed at an insult, because even though I was not insulting him, it kind of is an insult, but it's also very factual that I am stronger than him now, and I am younger than him, so it's factual, but he got very offended when I said that, because to him it was an insult, and you laughed very hard at that. So there's so many different perspectives going around, just with that one line, just with that one little bit of situation. There was him being very offended and thinking that I was a chicken. There was me uh, actually feeling kind of empathetic or sympathetic towards the situation, because it really is not fair for him if I were to fight him. And I felt bad about that, so I didn't fight him. And then there's you, who kind of just thinks the whole situation is hilarious, or just the moment, you thinking that was a whole hilarious moment, and all of that combined just makes for a very interesting perspective. Yeah, and that's kind of funny. Very funny. The experiences with situations really depends on where you stand in the relation to the situation. Yeah, so that's a very interesting perspective too. Very interesting insight. Yeah. Yeah. I love you so much. I love you so much. I switched arms. I was holding my phone on my right arm and my microphone with my left, but now I switched it. I'm holding the phone with my left and the microphone with my right, because my arm was getting a little bit tired. And now I'm gonna drink some water. I'm thinking about Santa Cruz again, and how it would be really interesting for you to experience Santa Cruz with me. Yeah, I really love Santa Cruz. I didn't know Santa Cruz was my first experience to essentially what would be considered a whole new world. Before Santa Cruz, all I knew was LA. LA and Las Vegas and suburbs in these areas. Yeah. Um, so when I finally saw Santa Cruz for the first time, it was like driving into a different planet. It felt like my van was a spaceship, and Santa Cruz was like Pluto, or Mars, if Mars was, lush and green. So that's kind of what it felt like. And Santa Cruz has forests and ocean and mountains. It's really amazing. And from the time that I looked it up, it is the second happiest place in the United States. The first happiest place is Boulder, Colorado, and I'm very curious to why that's the happiest place in the United States. So I plan and hope one day to go there just to find out why. And it'd be cool to go there with you too. I would like that. I think in a different recording, I'm gonna talk more about Santa Cruz, even though I've talked about it to you a lot already. It'd be nice to have it in recording, because just the descriptions of Santa Cruz are very vivid for me, and I miss it a lot. And I miss you too. I miss you a lot. I still think that you're very amazing. I still feel very lucky to have you in my life and to have your love. I feel like I'm saying two really weird. Two. I switched back to holding things normally, because this way I can reach for the water easier. Hmm. Well, I hope at least by now maybe you're sleeping and sleeping well, because I'm not really sure if I have a lot more to say. That's incorrect. I have a lot of things to say, but I think right now would be a good amount of time to have this recording, and I hope at least by now you're sleeping well and that you're relaxed. I'm just worried that if I talk more, it gets harder and harder to stay consistent to the idea of keeping this very relaxing and very calming, and I want this to be helpful to aiding your sleep. And if I get into my thoughts too much, it may go one way or another. But I just want to keep this calm and not with any other emotions that are going to distract you from your sleep that you need and that I want you to have. So I think I'm just going to say that I love you and I feel very lucky to have you in my life. So incredibly lucky. Um, and yeah, like I said before, and I'll say it again, and I know you don't like it when I say it, but I feel lucky because out of the 5,000 guys that were trying to hit you up or talk to you, and out of the 300, 400 matches you had, somehow, some way, out of all of that, and despite the fact that we live in different countries, you ended up picking me. You ended up picking me. And that amazes me so much. And I remember sometimes I would ask you, and I ask you more than once because I get a little more information every time. Sometimes I ask you why you picked me or how you got about to picking me. And it is really amazing, even your answer, because the more I ask you, the more more information I get, because there are some things you forget to mention or some things that you don't think are important that I think are very